I've brought in well over 40 different standing desks in the past 6 years, and in many cases, multiple of each brand to tear them down to their components. In this tier list, I'm going to be ranking 15 of the most popular options online, looking at all aspects from build quality to stability, their range of adjustment, warranty, and even return policies, and ranking them accordingly. Let's get into the list. First on the list is the Herman Miller Renew, and I think it goes without question to say that Herman Miller is the most sought-after brand name in office furniture. Now, the Renew features a frame from a global standing desk leader, OMT, with their beefier Logic Data Smart Control Box, which is a bit of a dated system, but still on the upper end of quality, and gears actually made from OMT. They look very similar together, which is another story for a different day, and a motor from that German manufacturer, Ketter. Now, I think that the Renew is premium throughout, with maybe the exception of the wood veneer top. This looks nice, but feels cheaper, as it really should, than the hardwood surfaces found in similarly priced alternatives. It is hard to ignore the ridiculous services that Herman Miller offers to their customer base. 12 years of coverage on the entire desk and surface, a done-for-you service with on-site technicians that actually come out and service the desk on location, and all of their delivery options are inside delivery to room of choice with full setup. Now, the only things holding back the Renew are the fact that it doesn't have great stability at taller heights, the janky cable management system that came with our desk, and a return policy that really just isn't great, especially when compared to their high-performance seating line, A tier. The FlexiSpot EC1 might just be the most popular entry-level standing desk brand and product currently on the market. Now, a fun fact about FlexiSpot, even if you don't buy their EC1 product but stay in the same price range between $200 and $300, you're probably still buying a Loctech product. Loctech is actually the parent company for FlexiSpot, an OEM to suppliers for brands like Vivo and Monoprice. Now, it's hard to argue the $200 to $250 price tag on the EC1 desks. First, you get a 1-inch thick laminate surface, a frame that can easily lift 150 pounds, more than enough for most, and a frame that might be able to pass the sniff test for light commercial use. You also get a warranty, which is pretty decent too, maybe. But the basic up and down switch with no real tech, poor stability compared to mid-range and upper range desks, and a really cheap electronic set and internal components to match it land it solidly in D tier. Steelcase's entry-level standing desk, the Solo, lands squarely in the actual mid-range of the standing desk category. In their most popular size, 30 by 60, will set you back about $1,000. This is the first of 2 single-motor standing desks in the mid-range to be featured in the tier list. Now, the Solo is built on a quick-connecting Linac frame system, and this definitely speeds up the assembly required on this desk quite a bit. The Solo can also be shipped via FedEx Ground for free, which is a really nice cost-saving option compared to their top-of-the-line Ology table. They do have an inside delivery with professional assembly option as well if you prefer not to build the desk yourself. Now, the FedEx option will save you on the outbound shipping costs if you decide to return this desk, but you still will be required to cover the 15% restocking fee. Like the Ology, the Solo uses a commercial-grade high-pressure laminate surface, but with fewer color options available. I found that the stability is actually quite a bit better with the front to back on the Solo than on the Ology, so based on the price differences here, it's actually probably a better value. Overall, I'd say this is an easy B tier with all things considered. Uplift Desk has really risen the ranks to become one of the most well-known standing desk brands, not only in the mid-range, but across the entire category. The Uplift commercial version of the frame is my personal favorite, with a focus on stability and low-end height range. This frame is beefy, and the stability bar really creates a solid lateral stability through all heights. Since the earliest versions of the Uplift desk frames, their OEM Jiakang has made quite a few improvements to their frame. Some of the most notable improvements are better collision avoidance and Uplift's 15-year warranty on their frame, which they've also added to their surfaces as well. And speaking of those surfaces, Uplift has really invested a ton of money here into all of the different surface options that they offer. From many different colors and sizes of laminates to rubber wood options and even some of their solid wood options. The Uplift desk does have a nice offering, but they still utilize the Chinese manufactured frame from Jiakang. And while I think they've made some improvements to the frame, they definitely are still copying leaders like Linac for a lot of their internal components and control box technology. And while they're copying, I still think this is middle of the road for quality, which comes with the price point. Pretty easy B tier. Fezibo is an interesting product featured primarily on Amazon. I think that their marketing is really good with product images that actually make it appear a lot nicer than it is in real life. With a ton of different add-on options like cable management, added storage, and shelf systems, at first glance, it makes you feel like you're getting a lot for a small amount of money. But let's be honest, this desk is advertised on Amazon for $179. To think that you'd be getting something that good would be naive. The surface on the Fezibo was one of the first that I've seen to feature a two-piece top, designed to cut down on shipping costs. And while it features a 3-button programmable switch, the desk moves painfully slow and all of the accessories on the desk are as cheap as you could honestly get. This desk is so light that people in our studio lift it and move it around on their own. It is the definition of light duty or home use. I wouldn't recommend getting this if you need anything substantial. The difference between this and FlexiSpot is also significant, but only for $30 difference in price. Yet the FlexiSpot is only D tier, Fezibo F tier. The autonomous SmartDesk Pro and autonomous brand in general just don't seem to be talked about as much as they were in the past. Now, this product really made a splash with all of the influencer marketing they were involved with early on. Previous to a price increase towards the end of COVID, the autonomous products were really inexpensively priced. And for a product in the mid-range, you couldn't really find anything less expensive. Now, the autonomous SmartDesk Pro frame here features a 310-pound lifting capacity and one of the fastest adjustment speeds of all standing desks I've personally tested. All of their Pro options also come standard with a 4-button programmable switch, which is definitely a nice feature to have standard. But since the jumps in price, there really hasn't been an improvement in the quality of the product nor the actual warranty for it. With a 7-year warranty on the frame and electronics and a short 1-year warranty on their surfaces, this is definitely one of the worst warranties in the mid-range for standing desks. And the fact that they use T-Motion for their electronics packs and motors, from my own experience, I would have to say this is easily a C-tier desk. The VertDesk V3 is our own brand, so it's obviously going to be easily hitting that S tier, or I guess that's what everybody expects, right? But if you've followed us for a while now, you know that's not how this will really go. Now, there's definitely a lot to like about the VertDesk. The focus on the design here was stability first, but wasn't to lose sight on the component quality either. This is one of the few desks in the list to have a stability bar, so the lateral stability on the VertDesk is rock solid through all heights. Front to back stability is actually really good through that 44 to 45 inch height range, and then beyond that, it's just considered good. The frame features premium gears and motors from German manufacturer Ketterer. The control box technology, however, is from another German company, Lang Innotech, but the actual control boxes themselves are made in their facility based in Hungary. The control box technology for the VertDesk is definitely top of the line. Now, of course, there are a few weaknesses with the VertDesk, and the first is the single motor system that utilizes a hex rod for height adjustment. This design can be tricky for assembly if directions are not followed. Also, the limited height range from 27 inches to 47.5 inches can pose a problem for some users. While there's a good selection of customized laminate and hardwood options, no bamboo, powder-coated, or less expensive rubber wood options exist. B tier. The SHW standing desk is my least favorite of the cheap standing desks I've bought on Amazon to date, even more so than the Fezibo. But let's talk about what I like first. Number one, it comes standard with a 4-button programmable switch and one-touch functionality. It also features some very basic cable management. Like Fezibo though, this desk features a cheap 2-piece top design. This creates an awkward seam and flexes a bit too easily for my liking, especially if you plan to put anything of value on your desk surface. The desk also moves slowly, and it wasn't very smooth in operation, tending to jump around a bit when moving it up or down. The white columns were pretty gross too after cycling the desk only a few hundred times. Lastly, a 1-year warranty is pretty subpar across the board for standing desks, so I'd have a hard time recommending this one, F tier. The Alive standing desk is the top of the line option from Canadian standing desk brand Ergonofis. The first thing that really stands out about this product is the use of a live edge top that comes standard with the Alive series. This is definitely one of the coolest options I've seen from standing desk brands, although it might not be practical for everyone. Their recent launch of these new frames includes an integrated switch that's flush mounted in the surface. I think that this really creates a nice look with a button that still allows for one swipe height adjustment and 2 settings for each of the 4 users that can be saved in the settings. They've also gone with the latest frame technology from Lineak, which is the quick to assemble quick connect system and doesn't show any cutouts to hold the glides in place within the actual columns themselves. It just isn't the most stable option laterally without a wedge system or a cross support. And front to back, it becomes noticeable beyond the 44-inch height range as well. The integrated switch on the Surface does have its limitations though, and doesn't feature any type of Bluetooth connectivity for height adjustments or changing desk settings easily. It also has one of the shortest warranties in the ultra premium category. It's just 3 years on the Surface, 10 years on the structure of the frame, and 5 years on their electronics. All this said though, there's plenty of good about it to have it in the A tier. Honestly, I'd consider S tier if the stability and warranty were a bit better. The Monoprice standing desk was one that surprised me quite a bit. First, for a cheap standing desk, it was actually very easy to assemble. In person, this desk just seemed to have a better look to it that felt more than what the other desks in the sub $300 price point did. I feel like a lot of this, though, came from the switch. While it wasn't groundbreaking, it was definitely strides ahead of the other programmable buttons on desks in the sub $300 range. Now, staying on those $300 expectations, the collision avoidance feature on the Monoprice existed, which is like literally the first step better than its peers, which none of them even included. It also allowed you to adjust the sensitivity, which is likely to come in handy at some point, as collision avoidance can be tricky with a lot of false positives being triggered, especially on cheaper standing desks, and this can be super annoying. But considering this desk is only $300, there's some obvious missing things. First, it's really lightweight and doesn't feel as substantial as even the Vivo or the FlexiSpot models. It also has the shortest warranty of those desks, with only 1 year coverage compared to 3+ years. The just okay stability and limited weight capacity leave me no choice but to D-tier it. Vivo is the third standing desk in the list to feature a frame from Logitech, the parent company of FlexiSpot. Now, the frame itself is almost a spitting image of the FlexiSpot EC1 with that sturdier feeling than the Monoprice frame. The main difference, though, from the EC1 is a 3-button programmable switch that comes standard on the Vivo. The one-touch height adjustment feature is nice on standing desks, so this is definitely an improvement on the Vivo over the standard EC1 as well. But the button itself feels really cheap, especially compared to that similarly priced Monoprice option. The Vivo product, though, is pretty basic when it comes to technology and doesn't even include a feature for collision avoidance. With one-touch functionality, this is concerning for safety reasons, as it doesn't stop until it hits the pre-selected heights. The good news is this desk moves painfully slow, so you should be able to stop it if you hit the wrong button on accident. D tier. The IKEA Idizin is an interesting product. After IKEA's first electric standing desk failure with Bacant, the switch to Lineak for the frame OEM manufacturer was a smart choice. The unique design of Lineak is likely hit or miss though for most, with fewer people really being in the middle since this frame is so different looking. But the triangles used on the bottom half of the frame make this thing rock solid for front to back stability. And overall, this desk was actually one of the most stable frames we've tested over the years. When the Idizin was first released, the price point was actually really affordable at just $599 for the frame and surface. But since that point, prices have jumped up quite a bit, with shipping costs going through the roof if you're not able to pick up an Idizin locally. Now, this does come with a 10-year warranty that includes all parts of the frame, including electronics and their surface as well. Now, while this used to be a solid warranty in the mid-range, it's actually dropped down towards the middle of the pack. For me personally, it's really hard to recommend the hollow core surface that comes standard with the Idizin. If you were interested in this product, I'd say go for the frame only. No programmable switch for the Idizin can be a problem as well for some. With all that said though, I'd still say it deserves to hit that C tier, below Uplift, VertDesk, and Jarvis, but definitely above the likes of FlexiSpot. The Fully Jarvis is another product from the Jiakang family tree. Now, the Jarvis has had a long history of not being stable laterally or front to back, but in the past few years, they have switched to a wedge design in their columns. Now, I don't necessarily want to take credit for this, but I did talk extensively about how Uplift used this wedge back in 2017 and Fully did not. And since that time, they have changed to add the wedge. Now, the big difference between Fully and Uplift is that Fully kept their columns in a traditional format, small on top, big on bottom. This design ultimately reduces how low the desk can go, as the columns cannot collapse on themselves as far because of the wedge system, which limits their low end range to 25.6 inches, but it still will go as tall as 51.1 for people that are beyond the 6'4" mark. Now, another big difference here between Uplift, because these are two major competing brands, is that they have a 15-year warranty on their frame, but their surfaces only come with a shorter 5-year warranty. Ultimately, though, the Jarvis has the same quality guts in the frame as the Uplift brand. I put these squarely in the mid-range for quality, but because of the shorter warranty and the slightly less stable frame, I'd have to put Fully slightly behind Uplift in the B tier. Now, one thing to note, which is something you'll probably see, it does look like Herman Miller, who had acquired the Fully brand, is actually going to be removing Fully.com from the web and bringing the products, the few that they've decided to keep, onto the Herman Miller website. It's definitely something to keep and take note of. And that could potentially change my ranking here if they were to remove the desk completely. Steelcase's premium option, the Ology, includes advanced Linac frame technology with the integrated piezo collision avoidance that's built right into the columns. Now, like all Steelcase branded products, it comes with a 12-year warranty for the complete frame and surface. Now, the biggest difference between a brand like Herman Miller and Steelcase with their warranty is the lack of on-site support from Steelcase. Now, this means that it would be left up to the customer to replace any components if need be. Now, I really like the look of the Arctic White Ology frame that we ordered. Steelcase has invested some extra money here to add plastic molded components that really tie in nicely and give the frame a distinct look. The Ology frame comes with a wide range of adjustment as well, starting at as low as 22.6 inches and going as high as 48.7, which is a good range for most people. Overall, though, I'm not a huge fan of their 15% restocking fees on products like this, though. Add that to the fact that they don't refund the original shipping costs. This could cost you as much as $500 to $700 depending on the configuration. The stability for the Ology wasn't great as well because of the column fit, which seemed off for me on the Linac frame, but because of this and the price, I'd have to go high B tier on this one. Now, a done-for-you warranty service like Herman Miller could have definitely got me into that A tier considering the value that provides. The NewHeights S-Series is the last desk in the list and without question the most expensive desk in the list as well, but it has the product quality and services to back that price up. The S-Series is made in the USA with a unique anodized aluminum column that helps protect it from the wearing and rubbing of paint that normally happens with steel frames. This desk also ships fully assembled to your room of choice and includes a ridiculous 365-day free return policy. With lifetime warranty support from on-site technicians, this is really the perfect option for someone who doesn't have the time to deal with receiving or maintaining a desk that moves up and down. The 1.5-inch thick hardwood surface is what someone would expect at this price point. Stability is a key component here as well. Built on the same frame as the NewHeights XT, this desk has excellent lateral stability through max height and really good front to back as well, with only a small amount of movement towards the top end height range. Outside of the price and limited customization of the surface, the S-Series is as close to a perfect standing desk from product to services that you'll find. So this is the only option worthy of the S tier, in my opinion.